Plenty of Crawford County parents made their voices heard at today's Crawford County Commissioners meeting concerning Crawford County's school mask policy. You'll hear from a parent and a Crawford County Commissioner coming up.
The underwhelming September jobs report reflecting the problems that businesses are having in finding workers. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with reaction to the state of the economy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Many parents made their voices heard at today's Crawford County Commissioners meeting. The majority of them are unhappy with USD 250's new masks in class policy. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to parents, also a county commissioner, to learn more.
Friday's Crawford County Commissioners meeting was much livelier than usual, but that's because commissioners were hearing from the public about USD 250's new policy concerning masks in the classroom.
Let's sacrifice for the common good for a little while, and if we do, we'll all come out better on the other side.
People have come forward and told you that their children were suffering, and I ask you to really believe them.
The KDHE and CDC are pushing junk science to gain compliance that buttresses their argument.
Last week, the USD 250 school board announced that masks in class will be optional if Crawford County meets certain health requirements related to COVID-19. While some people at Friday's county commissioner meeting supported the new policy, many parents in attendance felt that student mask wearing should be 100% their choice.
Give parents the option. I don't care if you send your kid in a hazmat suit. You know, we just want the option, just like you have an option to get a shot, whether you believe in that or not. And let's just make it simple. I mean, we've been dealing with this long enough. We should know by now, and personal choice.
Crawford County Commissioner Jeremy Johnson says he understands parent concerns and got the impression that many of them are worried that school mask mandates will always be present in Crawford County. But he says recent data concerning the coronavirus in Crawford County doesn't back up those fears.
Our numbers have gone down considerably. I've not seen the final ones because they've not been released yet for this week. But as of yesterday, we only had 17 new cases in the county, which is half of what they were the week prior. And this is after a week of students not being required to wear masks in schools. That's promising data going forward.
In Crawford County, Kansas, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
While the majority of public comments focused on masks in the classrooms, some meeting attendees also let commissioners know they thought the county's quarantine policy was cumbersome and heavy-handed. If you'd like to listen to all the parent comments or just watch all of today's Crawford County Commissioners meeting, we've put a link in this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. More big companies are putting COVID vaccine mandates into place, and the feds say it's working. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri has more from Atlanta.
The battle over vaccine mandates is heating up, with the White House making a big push for private companies to require their employees to roll up their sleeves. Those mandates are already in effect for healthcare workers in half a dozen states, leading to significant layoffs in some hospital systems. But that's not stopping major corporations like IBM and American Airlines, which both announced Thursday their workers must get vaccinated or get fired, reflecting a growing trend in the corporate world.
We certainly don't want to have to separate anyone from our business as a result of this, and my hope is that everyone gets vaccinated.
The mandates are being credited for a big spike in vaccination rates in some cities, like San Francisco, which is now in the process of lifting its indoor mask mandate, saying vaccination requirements are enough to keep folks safe.
If the CDC and the county health departments agree that that's the safest thing to do for people, I think we need to follow the science.
Meanwhile, as the push for vaccination continues, the CDC is urging people to get their flu shots as well, warning of a possible twindemic as seasonal influenza ramps up this winter after a milder than average flu season last year.
Because so little disease last year, population immunity is likely lower, putting us all at increased risk for disease this year, especially among those most vulnerable.
The CDC also says folks getting their COVID vaccine booster can also get their flu shots at the same time. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
Doug Caddy joining us now. Nice, calm, cool night out there, Doug.
Yeah, not bad at all. Great weather for all the high school football games that are ongoing at this point in time, getting close to the end of most of those games. But temperatures, they were warm today. 87 for a high, started at 63, normal high 74. So 13 degrees above our average and only 6 degrees shy of a record high for us today. It gets even hotter over the next few days. Nothing's going on here. We have pretty much clear skies across the entire Central Plains and temperatures still pretty good. We're sitting into the mid to upper 70s. Very hot weekend, but we also have a severe threat rolling in Sunday night. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. A Monette, Missouri man is dead after a crash near Goodman. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says Brandon Wellbaum was driving down Route C when he ran off the road and his car flipped. Wellbaum passed away at the scene. Investigators this morning continued the search for two girls who went missing from Welch, Oklahoma back in 1999. Authorities believe Ashley Freeman and Laura Bible were kidnapped and murdered, but the bodies have never been found. Today, investigators searched the property at 627 South Ottawa Street in Pitcher based on interviews with Ronnie Busick. He's in prison now for his role in the case.
The person everybody wants me to be now will be there that day. She's there, but for me right now, my main focus is to find them. And once I find them, I'm not going to have to search anymore. Then, you know, the loss and stuff, it'll be there.
Investigators did not find anything today, but plan to keep looking as new leads come up. The underwhelming September jobs report has the state of the economy under sharp focus. Employers are having a tough time finding qualified workers to fill those positions during the pandemic. Now, many economists are pointing to the rise of the Delta variant as a major issue for companies. Some are also arguing more government assistance is creating problems for the labor market. Fox's Madeline Rivera has a closer look from Washington.
With just 194,000 jobs added, the September jobs report missed economists' projections of 500,000. But President Biden sees progress.
The unemployment rate down to 4.8%, a significant improvement from when I took office.
Many private industries, including leisure and hospitality, retail, trade, and transportation, added more jobs. However, hiring in public education dropped over the month.
What would you like?
Tamika Jacobs, assistant manager of Praline Bakery in Washington, D.C., says their problem is keeping workers.
It's been a challenge just kind of stopping the turnover from being so rough, you know, just keeping people there and keeping people satisfied.
Some economic analysts believe the road to full recovery will be bumpy as concerns over COVID-19 and supply constraints continue. Still, there is optimism as the number of coronavirus cases fall.
There will never be a better time to look for a job than right now.
Democrats say the jobs report reflects the need to pass the president's domestic agenda to protect families' financial security. Republicans argue their multi-trillion-dollar social spending plan will create more government dependency.
All of these welfare payments are basically paying people not to work.
Jacobs is hopeful the labor market will improve, though it may take some time.
We in this for a long haul.
All eyes are on the Federal Reserve to see if they'll continue with their plans to withdraw some economic support later this year after this disappointing jobs report. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Andrew Schmidt has served in the U.S. Army. A native of Oswego, Kansas, Schmidt spent time in Iraq earning numerous awards. And we are proud to thank and salute Sergeant Andrew Schmidt. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look forecast. And later in sports, Pitt State preparing for a big matchup this weekend against Northwest Missouri State.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us today. It was definitely on the hot side. Temperatures all the way up into the upper 80s, which is well above where we should be for the first full week of October. In fact, our temperatures outside right now are about where our afternoon highs should be ending up. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Our average high for this time of the year is about 73. We're still 74, 75 degrees across the region. Iola 70, 76, Independence. We have Miami at 70, 73 in Neosho, and we're really not going to drop off too much more tonight. We got southerly winds continuing to increase, and this will keep our temperatures up. So near 70 for an overnight low by the time we get into the morning hours. Outside, here's 7th and Rangeline, currently sitting at 75, south winds at about 10. Humidity is at 64%. Nothing's going on here, though. We've had pretty much clear skies throughout the afternoon. In fact, the entire Central Plains look pretty good. If we look out to the west, you can see this area of high pressure in Texas. So this is a ridge of high pressure. This is what's given us dry conditions and also the heat. And then if you jump over the ridge, you start to see the beginnings of our next storm system, and that's going to start to affect us by the time we head into Sunday night and also on Monday. But the weekend is going to end up staying dry. We are going to get some clouds in here during the overnight hours tonight, partly sunny skies tomorrow, but really heating up. We should be several degrees warmer than what we have had today. I think most of us are going to go to about 92, 93 degrees by the time we head into the afternoon hour. So it's definitely going to be on the hot side. At least the humidity is not going to be too bad. Tomorrow night we drop back into lower 70s, 4 overnight lows. And then as we head into Sunday, we do much of the same. We go into the upper 80s, very similar to what we are seeing today. Here's 3:30 in the afternoon. Some thunderstorms start to get going out across central parts of Kansas. These are going to start to work in Sunday evening. So here's about 9:30. So if you're traveling north to Kansas City and heading to the Chiefs game Sunday evening, most likely some thunderstorms will try to get in to the area after let's say about third or fourth quarter. So that could be an issue. And then you can see this whole line of storms works right in as we head into Sunday night. Most of these storms are going to be strong, and some of these storms will even be severe. If we have any severe thunderstorms, the main threat here is going to be large hail and gusty winds, and also some very heavy amounts of rain. We get this first batch, we get another batch, so now we're looking at Monday morning, and then the rain will start to rotate out of here by the time we head into Monday afternoon. But we do have that severe threat Sunday night, so we need to keep our eyes on that. Until then, hot, windy, 93 tomorrow, 87 on Sunday. Thunderstorms Sunday night, cooler on Monday, back into the 80s Tuesday, and more thunderstorms Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week.
I'm confused. Is this spring?
I know, it kind of feels like it. Yeah, we haven't had any cold air yet.
Goodness. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much, Doug. Coming up, a difference of opinion.
President Biden is restoring protections for 3 national monuments. I'm Jackie Heinrich in Washington. Why the decision to offer greater environmental protection is generating strong mixed opinions. Coming up.
A suicide bombing at a Shia mosque in Afghanistan leaves at least 20 dead and 90 wounded. Local authorities say the explosion took place inside a mosque in the northern Afghan city of Kunduz today. Hours after this attack, ISIS-K claimed responsibility in a statement on Telegram. Earlier this week, the group also claimed responsibility for Sunday's attack on a Kabul mosque. The Antiquities Act gives sitting presidents the right to make changes to the country's national monuments. Former President Barack Obama, for instance, used it to create several protected lands, but then former President Donald Trump used it to dismantle them. Fox News correspondent Jackie Heinrich is in D.C. with more on how President Biden now is using that same act to restore protections for several areas, and the pushback his decision is already facing.
National monuments and parks are part of the identity as our identity as a people.
President Biden announcing greater federal protections for 3 national monuments, fully restoring the boundaries of Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante National Monuments in Utah, and protecting the Northeast Canyons and Seamounts National Monument located south of Cape Cod in the Atlantic Ocean.
Preserving them is the fulfillment of a promise to our children and all those who will come to leave this world a little better than we found it.
All 3 areas were impacted under former President Donald Trump, who argued the protections were harming businesses. Trump used the Antiquities Act to slash roughly 2 million acres of land across both monuments in Utah, while also allowing commercial fishing in sections of the Northeast Canyons and Seamounts Monument.
A very historic action to reverse federal overreach and restore the rights of this land to your citizens.
Some local leaders and environmentalists calling this a victory for the area's indigenous people and wildlife. Others, including Utah Governor Spencer J. Cox, say the president's move is frustrating, asking for a permanent solution and to, quote, end the perpetual enlarging and shrinking of these monuments and bring certainty to their management. Legal action is even being considered.
We care about these lands, but we absolutely need to have a say in how they're managed.
The restoration of these national monuments comes in the wake of California's devastating oil spill, calling attention to the impact humans can have on the environment. In Washington, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
All right, next, more issues contributing to one big problem.
A backlog of container ships disrupts the supply chain. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer. I'll have more on what this means for your holiday shopping coming up.
Heads up here, a new FDA warning about another hand sanitizer. The Food and Drug Administration says people should not use any of that. Art Naturals. Again, Art Naturals sanitizer. The government says it found cancer-causing chemicals in the products. The products were sold at some pretty well-known stores, Walmart and other retailers. The FDA says consumers should just simply throw them out. 19 states and the District of Columbia are challenging the proposed overhaul of the U.S. Postal Service. Yesterday, their attorneys general filed a complaint with the Postal Regulatory Commission. It seeks to block the rate hikes and service cuts that started rolling out on October 1st. The complaint calls on the commission to conduct a review of the changes before they take effect nationwide. A backlog at California ports is only getting worse as retailers look for other ways to receive those goods. The disruptions could have an impact on the holiday shopping season. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer has more.
It's being dubbed Containergeddon. Dozens of container ships are stuck outside terminals in Los Angeles and Long Beach, California, waiting to unload electronics, clothing, and furniture. Port of Los Angeles officials say before the pandemic, it was rare to see more than one ship waiting. But COVID-19, a labor shortage, and increased demand for goods have strained the supply chain.
The quickest route from Asia to the United States and interior points is through Los Angeles. It's like taking 10 lanes of freeway traffic and squeezing them into 5.
There's increased urgency for a solution as the holiday season approaches. Retailers such as Target, Walmart, and Home Depot are chartering their own vessels to beat supply chain disruptions. But some fear smaller businesses could take a hit.
They don't have the ability to get goods in. A lot of these smaller publishers and stores are holding inventory in China, trying to wait out the freight to see if it gets cheaper.
The delays could result in higher prices for many items, but consumers are still expected to spend big this holiday season. Retail and tech advisory firm Coresight Research predicts consumers will spend as much as 10% more this year, fueled in part by federal stimulus funds. But for those with popular items on their list, businesses urge you to shop early.
Be patient with the companies right now. It probably will be hard going into the holiday season. Get out, do your shopping early.
The Port of Los Angeles says incoming cargo is up about 30% from last year's record levels. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Coming up, if you're looking to make yard work a little less boring, check out this souped up lawnmower. All husbands who hate mowing that lawn, looking to buying this and rejoin your Saturday ball games pronto quick. I know there's no video here, but I thought this story was still noteworthy. A retired air conditioner engineer's mower now holds the Guinness World Record for the world's fastest lawnmower. Yeah, you see, kind of there, it looks like a lawnmower. Tony Edwards took a lawnmower he adapted with a 1300cc engine from a Suzuki Superbike, called it Moabusa, and set the Guinness World Record in it at 143 miles an hour. That was over in York, England, besting the previous record by 10 miles an hour. Now later, Edwards had to actually cut grass with it to snag the record as the world's fastest mower. That's where I wish the video would have been here, you know what I mean? But still, good story. All right, if you work at a store, heads up here, Mickey D's is going to be giving out free breakfast thank you meals to teachers and school staff. Starting Monday through next Friday at participating restaurants, it's going to be served in a classic Happy Meal box with a choice of entree, hash browns, and a beverage. McDonald's says it's the company's first big national thank you for teachers and others in education. It was inspired, by the way, by McDonald's thank you meals for first responders last year and by teachers' appreciation campaigns at local restaurants. A valid work ID, by the way, is required to get the meal. Good deal, I think. The least we can do for people working at schools. They do so much for our children. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Some folks in Carthage came out to thank Vietnam War veterans for their service.
There's a deal to avert a fiscal crisis in Washington with the debt ceiling, but it will come up again around the holidays. I'm Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. More on that story coming up.
Across the country, Americans are uniting to thank and honor Vietnam War veterans and their families for their service. Here in the 4 states, that happens today over at Carthage City Park. The Army Security Agency hosted the event that honored the veterans along with Vietnam War POWs.
To give these guys, us, myself, a chance to get back together again, because we all know each other directly or indirectly. We all did the same thing all around the world at different times, different locations, but the missions were all similar, while the targets and data, etc., were a little different. But it gives us a chance to come together, reminisce.
Veterans today were also presented with the Vietnam Veteran Pin, a lasting memento of the nation's thanks. Change is coming to the way Joplin Globe subscribers receive their paper. The Globe today announced subscribers are going to be getting their paper by mail instead of through contracted carriers. They'll still get that paper the same day, but this will change when, during the day, subscribers get the paper.
It might be a couple hours later, a few hours later, even in the afternoon than what we've been used to. But, you know, the newspaper industry and the Globe, we just have to change, you know, with the times. And this is a move that we think is going to help us sustain what we're doing for, you know, generations to come.
The change, by the way, begins November 2nd. All right, busy roads aren't carefree highways, and a new study says living by one could be a road to an early grave. Health officials with University of Copenhagen and Denmark say in a Journal of the American Heart Association study that long-term exposure to air pollution and road traffic noise can raise the risk of developing heart failure, especially in women and former smokers and people with high blood pressure. Researchers studied 22,000 nurses ages 44 and older for 20 years. As fine particulate matter and nitrogen dioxide rose, so did risk for heart failure. 30% had a hypertension history and were the most susceptible to air pollution exposure. Wall Street has been paying close attention to the debt ceiling drama going on over in D.C. Yesterday, the Senate did its part, voting to avoid a default at least until December, but the House still has to act before October 18th, or things could get ugly. Congressional correspondent Chad Pergram reports now from Capitol Hill.
Markets abhor uncertainty. Washington's fight over the debt ceiling is something that Wall Street is watching. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen predicted doom for the economy if Congress doesn't act by October 18th.
It would be disastrous for the American economy, for global financial markets, and for millions of families and workers whose financial security would be jeopardized by delayed payments.
The U.S. flirted with a default a decade ago. Congress hiked the debt ceiling before the deadline, but the drama spooked investors. Standard & Poor's downgraded the credit rating of the federal government because of Congress's bumbling response.
The U.S. is AAA rated. It is on negative watch from Standard & Poor's, so they are looking for a reason to downgrade the U.S. This could very well be the reason that they're looking for. And so I'm concerned about the politics really having an economic fallout that we don't like.
Market watchers recall the Dow tanking in real time when the House defeated a rescue bill during the 2008 financial meltdown.
The market thought they're not dumb enough to not pass this. And guess what? They were dumb enough to not pass it.
Republicans are trying to highlight problems Democrats have governing.
They couldn't even pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which the president negotiated, and the Speaker of the House promised would pass last week.
So the plan is to hike the debt ceiling by $480 billion. That gives the Treasury Department just enough money to get through December 3rd. It also means the federal government must grapple again with its bills right around the same time as everyone else at the holidays. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Good Friday story right here. A major warehouse chain wants to deliver adult beverages to you for the holiday season. Sam's Club is launching a direct-to-home wine delivery service. Going to be available in 16 states. Now, none of them, I did the checking, none of them are in the 4 states this time around, but more states are going to be added next year. Sam's Club says 20% of its shoppers have already started buying for the holidays. It is also bringing back its popular 12 Days of Wine Advent Calendar. It is launching gift items online and in stores. It's launching its first holiday preview catalog this month and is going to host holiday home prep across 5 weekends between now and Christmas. Some of London's iconic red buses right there behind me are getting a makeover as part of a new project that's bringing help to the homeless. Reporter Tina Cross is in London with this story.
London's famous red buses usually roll right by hundreds of homeless people on the streets of the British capital.
1, 2, 3.
But a new campaign invites those in need to step on board.
Providing everything from access to a doctor, a dentist, showers, haircuts.
3 buses have been remodeled, complete with laptops to help the homeless find jobs and open bank accounts. American ex-convict Thomas Noble is now off the streets.
I've been broken from front to back and up and down, and it's been bad.
He found a job with a British charity that trains homeless people as baristas. Money raised from the Change Please program is paying for these bus services.
You've got to try and make the space as nice as you can and really try and connect with people.
The buses will run 6 days a week over the next 2 years, each one helping at least 6 homeless people every day.
There will be no judgment. You step on that bus, they got you.
People can send a text to request a bus to stop by them. Organizers say the drive for change is transforming lives.
We leave someone with a before and after photo on a little Polaroid.
A small token for people like Thomas to remember just how far they've come.
The charity Change Please says they are working on plans to expand the homeless bus service to parts of the U.S. and to Paris. A bit later, the urgent cleanup effort underway in California.
Estimates on the amount of oil spilled in California are changing. I'm William Lajeunesse in Los Angeles with more on the updated numbers and cleanup efforts coming up.
Well, it turned out to be a almost hot day for us today. Temperatures way up there into the upper 80s for afternoon highs. Near record highs, and we're going to do that once again as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. But right now, it looks great. Here's a nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Of course, the parking lot filling up on a Friday night. Everybody getting out and about, and why not? Temperatures are great. We're sitting into the mid 70s across the board, and most of us are only going to drop off to about 70 later on tonight. It's been kind of windy today. We've had those south winds at about 10 to 20. They have diminished a little bit, but it's going to stay breezy through the overnight hours and then get cranking once again as we go into Saturday. Also on Sunday. 7th and range line looks good right now. We're sitting at 75, south winds at about 10, humidity is at 64%, pressure is at 29.47 inches of mercury and holding steady. Nothing going on here. We have clear skies. In fact, the entire Central Plains look great. But if we head out west, you can see this spin down through Texas. That's an area of high pressure. So this is a ridge of high pressure. This is keeping us dry and also warming us up. Behind the ridge, here's a trough. This is our next storm system, the beginnings of our next system that will start to affect us Sunday night. But until then, we look okay. It's going to be hot over the weekend, but the weekend definitely looks pretty nice. Southerly winds picking up for us during the daytime hours tomorrow. Partly sunny skies, heating up again. I think most of us are going to go into the lower 90s for afternoon highs. I think about 92 or 93, which would at least tie a record high. So it's going to be hot. At least the humidity won't be too bad. By tomorrow night, we drop back near 70 once again. Then as we go into Sunday, upper 80s to near 90. So another hot day, but clouds will increase in the afternoon. Here's 3:30 in the afternoon. Watch thunderstorms developing out to the west. These will explode as we go into Sunday evening, especially once you get into Oklahoma. These are going to be severe down through Arkansas. We're kind of on the northern edge, but I definitely think we're going to get some strong to severe thunderstorms. If we had anything severe, the main threat is gusty winds and large hail as these roll through Sunday night. So here's late Sunday evening. You can see the whole line plows through Sunday night into Monday morning. Showers, thunderstorms continue as we go into Monday morning. Then we get a break and we get to dry out a little bit as this system rotates out of here. But by Tuesday, here comes a warm front. Here comes more showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong to severe. So it gets pretty active as we head into next week. 93 tomorrow, 87 on Sunday. Cooler on Monday, back to 84 Tuesday, so temperatures stay warm through the period.
I will admit, I do like the 70 degrees at nighttime. I don't like the 50 degrees at nighttime. It's a little bit too cool for me.
Well, I kind of like it. It's nice and crisp.
Well, see, I'm saying what I'm like right now, so just make it happen.
Okay, will do.
All right, Doug. Thank you so much. Coming up in Source, going to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, ahead of Sunday night's AFC showdown with the Bills. Also, Pitt State preparing to face Northwest Missouri in a battle of two of the best programs in the country. Jacob Leonard joins us with details after this break.
Well, both the Pittsburgh State Gorillas and Missouri Southern Lions will be on the road tomorrow in Week 6 of the MIAA season. Southern is at Lincoln, while the Gorillas have a tough one against the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. And Northwest is undefeated at 4-0 through 4 games, while the Gorillas are 4-1, entering on a 3-game winning streak. Now, this will be the 54th all-time meeting between the two programs. Northwest holds a 28-25 advantage in the first 53, including winning 13 of the last 17. Now, here's Bearcats head coach Rich Wright on tomorrow's game and the rivalry between two of the best programs in the country.
When I got here in 1995 as a graduate assistant coach, you know, that was the team to beat, and you know, we were able to moving forward, we were able to kind of flip the pendulum a little bit, and have had some good success against Pittsburgh. But it's always kind of a benchmark game for us. We know they have a very good football program historically, and you know, they're 4-1 right now, so obviously they're playing great football. So we'll have our hands full, but it's always exciting to compete against the Gorillas.
In the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-2 in their first 4 games of the season. Last week, they went on the road and beat the Eagles 42-30. This week, they come back home to host the Bills on Sunday night. Like we do every Friday night, though, right now, it's time to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
We can find inspiration in a lot of places, from cancer survivors who have shown the extreme courage, and this is Crucial Catch Week for the Chiefs Kingdom in our quest to intercept cancer. We can also find it on the football field. Take into account Chiefs tight end Jody Fortson. Originally signed with the Chiefs in the winter of 2019 as a wide receiver, he was then cut, put on the practice squad, signed again, cut again, put on the practice squad. Jody Fortson was signed again after being cut, and this time he made it. 3 signs, 2 cuts, 2 practice squad stints, and touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. Oh, and Fortson's hometown is Buffalo, New York. And this week, the Chiefs play his hometown Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. Fortson has made it as an inspiration to all of us on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Sunday's game between Kansas City and Buffalo begins at 7:20. The Chiefs, by the way, at last check, are 2.5-point favorites. That's it for sports. Be sure to join us back here on Fox 14 at 11 for Press Box. That's a 30-minute show, nothing but football. We'll have high school highlights and scores from all across the area, including undefeated showdown between Joplin and Carthage. We're back with more news right after this.
Potential cause of a massive oil spill off the coast of California last weekend. The Coast Guard saying an anchor may have hit the pipeline several months to a year before the major leak. But as the investigation continues, officials are now dramatically altering the amount of oil they believe may have leaked into the Pacific. Fox News national correspondent William Lajeunesse has more details from Los Angeles.
They don't recover many of the barrels that are actually released.
A multi-agency response team releasing new figures on how much oil may have been released from that ruptured pipeline off California.
The minimum amount of crude oil released from that pipeline is 588 barrels of oil.
That's the low estimate, roughly 25,000 gallons. On the high side, 132,000 gallons of spilled oil.
I would expect that number to change.
Meanwhile, new video shows a section of that damaged pipe. Experts identified a 13-inch crack they believe may have allowed oil to slowly trickle out under low pressure without triggering a shutdown. Friday evening, some ships reported seeing an oil slick in the bay off Long Beach, and satellite photos seem to confirm a spill Friday night. But the platform owner didn't shut down the pipeline till 6 a.m. Saturday and reported a possible leak 3 hours later.
We're not seeing a lot of heavy product, a lot of dark patches of oil.
Cause of the leak remains under investigation, but officials believe an anchor from a nearby cargo vessel may have snagged the pipeline, causing the spill.
They'll have to probably cut the pipeline section out that's failed and then do forensic analysis on it.
Governor Gavin Newsom wants to end offshore production, and today President Biden will stress reducing impacts on the environment during the ceremony restoring federal protections to 3 national monuments. In Los Angeles, William LaJeunesse, Fox News.
Coming up, going to learn about the latest installment of a video game-based horror movie series. Game on for a big franchise continuation in theaters, while audiences get a preview of streaming comedy and cooking in store. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with Hollywoodation.
I'm guessing you're Anique. She's good.
Star-filled comedies, Selena Gets Cooking, and a game-based thriller brings a first look in the Hollywood nation.
We need to expose Umbrella.
Welcome to the next chapter of Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. The first trailer for the upcoming video game-to-screen franchise continuation has been released. The thriller follows a group fighting to find the source of evil ravaging their town. It's in theaters November 24th.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're on my show. Thank you.
HBO Max shared a look at Selena and Chef Season 3, and this time celebrity chefs include MasterChef judge Aaron Sanchez. The show features family, friends, and guests cooking together, with each chef highlighting a different charity when they join. Season 3 premieres October 28th. Oh, Arthur, stop it! According to Variety, a WandaVision spin-off starring Kathryn Hahn is in development at Disney Plus from Marvel Studios. The publication says, quote, sources describe it as a dark comedy with Hahn reprising her role as Agatha Harkness, and that exact plot details remain under wraps.
Any one of you could be the murderer.
And Apple TV Plus invites audiences to the after party. The streamer debuted the teaser trailer for the comedy series starring Tiffany Haddish. It's a whodunit by award-winning writers Chris Miller and Phil Lord, and centers on a murder mystery at a high school reunion. The 8-episode show premieres in January.
How did this all go so wrong?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of giant twin panda cubs in Tokyo. Have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.